Welcome to Damsels in Dialogue, a podcast dedicated to female protagonists in fiction, film, and the stage. Co-hosted by Katie Zutter.
And Indy Marie Paul. For the end of our third season, we are hosting our second annual Maiden Madness tournament. This year, our March Madness-style competition puts the supportive sweethearts of Disney and Pixar animation head-to-head to see who will wear the crown.
We have made it to the championship round of our 2022 tournament. Let's see who takes the crown. This is Maiden Madness. Welcome to this Maiden Madness, friends. This is the final episode.
Woo.
I'm so excited. We're going to be starting off with, we talked about all four of these gentlemen last week, but
yes,
this time we are going to narrow it down to their official places of top four, ending with our final two and first and second place. Of course, we will bring back our honorable mentions, talk about some gentlemen we haven't spoken about in a while.
Yeah.
Because this year, I don't know if there's that much of a discussion of who's going to take the crowns this time.
I don't think so, but
for this final.
Yeah, the scores I don't think have changed much for us since last week, but I do think I'm ready to gush about both of them by the end. I do think it was a well-fought bracket this year, and I'm excited to figure out who you bring up for honorable mentions of stuff, because some of these men got kicked out early on, and it just did very, very well. So the left side of the bracket was rough for people. There was so many high scores that got kicked out.
All in the upper left-hand corner. That was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
It was a lot of people who would have ended up against David at some point ended up against him immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how that happened, but
I know. It's the luck of the draw, guys. This is Maiden Madness.
Fabulous. So, shall we see who takes third?
Yes. Let's see. Third and fourth places. Who might they be? We have Hercules and Shang.
Yes. Hercules and Shang. Well, we heard a lot of opinions about Hercules last week, and I think they still hold up. It's very sad. It doesn't make me, dislike him more or less. It's just what it is for this tournament. So he ended up with the 31 for me on Sweetheart and a 33 on Supportive.
Yeah.
So he only has a 64.
Same. I was a little nicer with a 32 and a 34, but a 66 is not... is still not great for being this far into the tournament. Now, I do want to mention, as we talked about, the upper left-hand side of the bracket was just stacked, my friends.
Yes.
The upper right side of the corner was very much the opposite of stacked.
Yeah.
So
that how did that happen?
I don't know.
It's just sad.
That's how the cookie crumbles, friends.
Yes,
Shang, I do want to have a quick talk about Shang. I feel like I've mentioned it before.
Yes.
And I'm so sorry for just exacerbating the point. But I am still impressed with Shang's ability to answer all the questions confidently.
Yes.
And for a movie that definitely in some circumstances could be deemed as like a little on the sexist side.
Yes.
He does quite well.
He does very, very
and
well.
Rightfully so, does well. I was very impressed. I thought he would do well, but I did not think, I thought he would make it to the Sweet 16.
Yes.
I did not think he would make it past that. And so I definitely cut him a little more as an underdog. So for him to very confidently and solidly have this third, fourth place position is all right. I didn't think of you, just like I forgot about your wife.
I was like, I'm so sorry to both of these characters in Mulan, because you ended up very, very good in both of our tournaments. But for Shang, I ended up with a 34 in Sweetheart.
33 for me.
Ooh, nice. And a 49 in Supportive.
50. Did we even out at 83?
Yes. Solid 83.
Amazing.
So definitely just absolutely crushes Hercules.
Yes.
In this third, fourth spot. So he is definitely our third place. I will say what's even more disappointing about Hercules is that he's in and is the main character of his movie.
Yes, Shang is not the main character of his movie.
No, not at all.
And so to have now he's in it a lot, don't get me wrong, but he's not the main character. So being able to answer all those questions confidently is, and Shang did not get the other positive female relationships. He didn't get those kind of bonuses that Hercules, being the main character, being the sole focus of the film, didn't even get an opportunity. To fulfill some of these things.
Well, even looking at my scores here, Shang has no 2s on the rubric for me, and Hercules has
same.
Hercules has 4
Yikes.
in the in all of them to put together. So I mean, that in itself kind of shows it's a lot for us to give someone a 2. We level a lot of stuff out at 3 in this. So
yes, for this year, if they didn't get an opportunity, we did not count that against them. Unlike last time, where it's like, okay, this is your story, this is your thing, you're the hero here. If you didn't get the opportunity, that's a bad thing.
That's a bad development.
So for this, for him to confidently score him below average. Not looking good, my dude.
Not looking good. Both of them, very buff, very sweet men.
Yes.
But
Shang, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he made it. Did he make it into the himbo-y? He's a little himbo-y.
I think so, yeah.
He's just the most intelligent himbo, I think, is where we were getting caught up.
I think, is he one? Because he has enough wits about him to run in.
He's got the muscles. He's got the looks. He's got the awkward, you fight good. But
but he runs an entire unit of an army. He's there's a little more intelligence going on than some of our himbo men. So, but I think we did count him technically in that vote.
I think it was just the smartest of the himbos, if you will.
And Hercules was voted to get the pass week.
Yes.
So he's beloved.
Oh, for sure he's beloved. It's and maybe it could be too more of an age thing as well. Shang reads much older and much more mature and much more from what he thinks he has his life under control.
Yeah.
Whereas Hercules, even when he gets that big macho man bod, he still reads a little bit like a sweet himbo dope.
Yeah.
Very innocent, very blindly following Phil. So it could be a little bit of that too, of just when you're more established and more confident in yourself, you will portray those kinds of qualities.
But
and it's kind of the opposite with Hercules, where you have Meg is the older one who's a little more confident and put together. I'm a damsel, I'm in distress, I can handle it.
Exactly. But that means that our official 3rd place goes to Shang from Mulan.
Woohoo! Excellent job.
Yes. And our 4th place goes to Hercules from Hercules.
Disappointing, Hercules.
It's so disappointing because this is here's proof of the disappointment if we talk about any of these honorable mentions that we want to bring up, because the scores on these men are so much higher than Hercules, which is why that upper right bracket was so rough. Process. So who would you like to start with our honorable mentions?
Oh, goodness. Well, I know who I want to finish with.
Okay.
I would like to end with Felix, because I just what a king. Because he got knocked out so quickly with David. But some other honorable mentions, though, in the 80s. I was surprised to find out when I went through and looked again, I didn't have that many in the 80s, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which was a little sad. Still, obviously Milo and David both cracked that.
Yes.
I had Felix cracking that. I had Pacha. Pacha was very much an underdog. I forgot about him entirely. Yeah. And he is the main character. Like him and Cusco together are both the main characters. But it was very sweet to see that he doesn't have that much interaction with his wife and kids. But man, he is a good guy.
He is. He really surprised me. And I only had, other than the people left that we're going to talk about, is I had Tarzan, Pacha, and Felix were the only others in the 80s. And Tarzan barely made it in.
Yeah, Tarzan just like squeaked just under the 80s, which was still great. Like mid-high 70s.
Yeah.
Still awesome. 70s in general is still, I think, a good score.
Yeah. And I had a couple extra in the 70s category. Phoebus made it.
Yeah, Phoebus.
He did. Made me happy.
Yeah, I'm so glad. He did. I think he did just about as well comparably to his counterpart Esmeralda.
Yeah, she was one that I wish went farther, but she just is written as like the side love interest, objectified character. So, but they're both really good. So for neither of them are the main character. Like Quasi is the main character of that movie. So like that was really cool that
they both did very well for what they were up against.
Yeah, I was very happy with that. My boy Flynn barely cracked. He got 70. When I was like, I'm gonna just fill out the rest of this because he didn't make it past round 1 just to see. He did hit 70 for me. I was harsh. Excellent. But it did make me feel a little bit better that he hit a 70 at a 26 and then a 44 in supportive. So it made me feel a little bit better.
Amazing.
Yes. But what was Pacha's score for you? Like of the 2 sections?
Pacha, Sweetheart, 33.
Ooh, 32 for me.
Supportive, 50.
He had a 51. So he ended up
solid.
With 83 for me.
83.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
And he was also knocked out by David.
Yes. So, like all these super high scores. Like David just went by and was like, sorry, babes. Which get it. But some of these people were like, Bob made it so far. And here's Pacha crushing it. Yeah, there are some good ones. I wanted to look up to see if I filled out. Oh, no, I didn't. I did not fill out Flynn's. I think I got disappointed with how low he got. But I'm like, I refuse. Because like it's tough too. Because like admits fault, like never.
No, yeah.
Like there's a lot of things that you're like, and then some that isn't. Like there's no sexism.
Yeah.
Call out and stuff. He's not the main character, so some of that isn't. And then I think he suffers from what Prince Adam suffers from. I think both of them are really excellent characters, but both of them are designed to, at the beginning, you don't like them. And then by the end, you love them. And they've gone through very important personal changes. Yeah. Which is why you are so endeared to them. So I think both of them are in that same boat, which is why they didn't just score phenomenally, because they had full character arcs. Yeah. Which is interesting to think about, and something that David definitely had the advantage of, because he's just David. He's just being David the whole time. There is no chance for you to be like, well, this part of the movie was trash. Like, nope. Yeah. Never. Yeah. So, which is not a bad thing. It's very cool to see both Adam and Flynn and others like get that full arc. It just, in this particular instance, unintentionally hinders them.
It did, but we still love them anyways. I will say what made me excited looking back at the people I was pulling for honorable mentions. A little sad there wasn't more in the 80s, because we had 30 people. Same. We had 30 people that we started with. But the 2 people that we have in the championship are in the top 3 of my scores.
Nice.
So it makes me feel a little bit better that even though Pacha got knocked out and Felix got knocked out, that who ended up with David was the 3rd highest score for me.
Nice.
So I felt a little bit more validated.
Awesome. I think that might be in a similar boat. He is tied for 3rd. If I go straight scores, I have David top, then Felix, then Shang, and then Milo and Pacha are tied.
Okay, yeah. Pacha and Shang are tied for me, so that's
so still like
yeah. He's up there,
top 4. Like he's there. He deserves to be here. Is doing great. Yeah. The discussion. I love the discussion about Milo with the boys last week. I think that was so really, really interesting. And he's been the most fun to discuss because we had a very different take. Yeah. In comparison to Marissa. Yeah. Where it was like her first time seeing it. And I did love, I think it's so funny that both you and I were like, yeah, Hercules is going to be amazing. And then all of our guests was like, you are all gaslit. Yep. Gaslit.
Well, I was like, Hercules is so sweet. He's just a dumb idiot and he's fun.
And we were wrong, guys.
Then you start looking at these scores and you're like, oh no. Yeah. We were all tricked into liking him.
Don't worry. We were set on the right track by our lovely guests. Yeah. Thank you. Friends and family.
Listening to last week, there's just you were trying to like talk about how disappointed you were in Hercules, and then Frank just comes in and goes, "Yeah, he's trash."
Yes,
yes, yeah, that's okay. It made me feel a little bit better that we weren't just like making this up.
No, it was so funny. Well, and even what you didn't catch in the, because we don't have a video of it, there were so many times where we were talking about like, oh, maybe this will be tight. And Josh was just shaking his head.
Yeah.
Just so not. That is every time. And he's like, oh, yeah, is because Josh is shaking his head at us.
Yes.
Like,
it was great. Yeah,
it was so cool. We needed to be set right.
I was actually really pleasantly surprised at how close all of our scores were together, because we haven't had a male guest on our show yet, so it was really cool to have that perspective last week. So we hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But as before we move to our champions,
guys,
I feel like we should talk to the person who had the number 2 score for me and the number 2 score for you.
Yes,
but had to get knocked out by David. Is Felix from Encanto.
Can we? I cannot say this enough that he is in 4 minutes of the film and scored this high.
Yeah.
This man, bless.
Yeah. He's a lot of 5s for me. Oh, just a lot. 9 5s.
Like,
yep.
Like, what a saint. 9 5s.
9 5s. Yep.
9 5s. What's crazy is he scored so high and he still has like 4s and 3s. He even has 1 2, which is see them fall in love.
Yeah.
Because they're already there. They're already confident. He is already like, he doesn't need that.
Yeah.
Because you can see both of them just fall into each other immediately.
Yeah.
Anytime she's overwhelmed in any direction, you know? So for him to still have a couple of 3s, a 2 in there, and to still score that high.
Yeah. What was your final sweetheart score for him?
I'm looking at it and it looks like I didn't do math right, because 53 plus 32 does not equal 84. So that equals 85.
Funny enough, my sweetheart was 32 and my supportive was 53. So
same. We have the same exact scores. The same exact scores. Amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So solid. Such a high. Guys, what a supportive sweetheart.
85.
What?
Yeah. I mean, narratively, he is built to be like a supportive person to Peppa who needs it. Like just an emotional support husband to Peppa. And he's built for it. He was built for this competition.
Oh, yeah.
What? You know,
and he spends half of that 4 minutes, either chatting with the other dad or scolding his son. Yep. Rightfully so.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, not that we don't like the son. We love the son. He's just chaotic.
He's great. It's
just chaos.
Yeah. I can't imagine coming into that family. We have no background on like where is he from? How did they meet? We got nothing. But we just know that he is supportive.
Yes. And I love seeing the two men and their very few chats.
Yes.
Felix and Augustine.
Yes.
You know, occasionally have moments of, we were brought into this family into a matriarchy. And I love, and he's like strong and big and like just great. Like what a great picture of a guy who is just so with women and so on it.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoy. My dude.
Yeah, a wonderful person. I'm so happy we did this year with them so that we could add him in. Like we added Mariano and Augustine and him into this competition because of Encanto.
And well deserved.
It was. And Augustine did fine too. He just isn't in it even as much as Felix is really in it. But he's still a great dad. I think there's some really good dads in this that
there really are.
I was happy, you know. I'm sad that we couldn't put in Jane's dad because there's no interaction with the mom at all. But love him. He's a little cutie. I'm sad Krunk couldn't be included.
Guys, Kronk is the himbo. Like Hercules is pretty up there in himbo as far as like the Disney community, but Kronk, he's it, guys.
Kronk would be
supportive.
He has no
romance.
He's
Kronk
far
is
more
always supportive
than Hercules.
Kronk would have done really well.
Yeah, he would have.
Oh my gosh. He's supportive of the squirrels.
Yes.
You kidding me?
I love it. And Mitt's fault completely. Just constantly doing the wrong thing.
His little angel and devil on his shoulder.
It's so good.
Amazing.
I love that. The other person that made it into the 70s was Kristoff.
Yes. And Kristoff is another one where I love what they did to him and, Flynn.
Yeah.
In the later.
Yes.
Added on.
Yeah.
Films, movies, everything. Like TV shows. Just both of those men really soared.
Yeah.
And would have done phenomenal on this had it gone past.
Yeah. And I don't think it's a fault in the writing for the first movie. I just think that's where they needed to be in that narrative.
Yeah, that wasn't his journey had just started. It's just beginning. And then you see him grow as opposed to in that movie where but the sisters are, it's their movie. So.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting, I was just looking at like the people who were in that 70s, like on the cusp of like could do better, but their movies weren't written bad. It's just where they are. For sure. And I think there's something to be said about the people that are scoring higher. It feels like even like David, it feels like they are complete as a person.
Yes.
While a lot of the people who are scoring on that cusp of like could be really great, like Flynn and Kristoff, is that they're becoming the person.
Yes. So and like, David's already there.
Yeah, which is impressive because he's like, what, 20-something?
Yes.
Like,
easily.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And even I think Milo is like who he is. At that point, his journey is not becoming himself. It's more of like just a different, getting to explore something. It's a different kind of movie. But like those like coming of age characters, like Hercules is a coming of age.
Yes, for sure.
So I think that goes against what they can actually do supportive.
Yes.
Which isn't a bad thing. It's just maybe there's a life lesson in this that you have to figure out yourself before you can be a supportive sweetheart. But it's just interesting to look at these, like what's playing against them. Even Tarzan, I think that was playing against him. As he's figuring out who he is,
for sure.
That's my existential thought for the day.
No, I love it. This was an exciting Maiden Madness. I'm very excited. I'm excited for the next one too. We're not sure what we're doing for it yet. But I don't know. I've been really enjoying Maiden Madness and the past 2 years. Let us know how you feel about it.
What do you want us to do?
This has been fun.
What kind of tournament do you want?
Right. Because we have a lot of options for women, and not just Disney. We can do all sorts of things, starting with heroism, having supportive sweethearts. I mean, there's all sorts of facets that women can be, and I'm just excited to unpack that more and more as this podcast continues. But
shall we?
I guess we move on to our final. Too. I still think for me, at least personally, there is still a huge gap. But Milo does come to the plate very well. And I have to say, not quite as underdog as Pacha for me, but I did not think he would make it this far. And I am very impressed that he did. And I'm happy that he did. I have grown to like it.
I have too, and I think why originally I'd scored him so low, and we went back, like Milo was back and forth for me.
He was all over the place for me too.
As we went through this tournament discussing him with different people, I think it's not a love story at all. No, and like there's like the romance is so minimal, and that's how they wanted it. We have a whole episode about Kita, so go watch that or listen to that. But what he succeeds in is being a good person that is support. Like, so he accomplishes the supportive and the sweetheartness without the huge romance element, which is why I think I just didn't expect him.
No, I didn't think of it either. I mean, we've had those conversations. I've had it a ton of times where I'm like, does it count as loving? Does it count as relationship? Because I'm not sure.
There's and different facets of love and like what that means has been really interesting with him.
For sure. It's been cool. It's been really cool talking about him. Yeah. And I do enjoy, I know we talked about this last week, but I enjoy that the only NA he got was calls out sexism. And I think it was a good thing because it was never in the cards because sexism was not a thing in the movie at all. Yeah. It's massively impressive just how in charge
women are in the movie itself.
Yes.
They are the most reliable characters.
Oh, hands down.
In that movie. From managing the trip with Helga and from Keaton, like, running her city, like, being the princess and running that. Like, everyone is kind of in charge and way more stable than the men. Because, like, the men, Dr. Sweets is pretty stable. But,
for
like,
sure.
you have Vinny who's just exploding.
Oh my gosh.
Vinny's
Vinny's just hanging on.
Yep.
Like, just living life just by the seat of his pants. Like, good at his job, but also is so risky. Like, he could die at any moment. Yes. And the fact that he is so chill about it.
It's so
I'm like, sir.
Yeah. But it is like the men in that movie are the most unstable part of that trip.
For sure.
There's something in that I think also that just made it feel like, I don't know. I was so surprised and happy that we got to discuss different kinds of love and different kinds of sweet and supportive with him than we did for others. Because so many Disney movies do have a very specific romantic element, which we all love.
Yes.
Like, I'm here for it. Yeah. I adore that.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was really cool to kind of, and I don't think there's a lot of other people in this tournament that had that more intellectual connection compared to like more like of a physical or emotional, like.
Right. You might, there could be an argument for Shang and Mulan.
I could see that. You know, I could see that. Mm-hmm.
That could be. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, this was a definite melding of the minds. Interesting.
Yeah. So that unique aspect was why I think it went so back and forth too.
Oh, for sure.
But I've grown to love that movie after watching it for season 1 and then rewatching it for this. Like, it was just so, it was lovely. But for Milo, what was your final Sweetheart score?
I had for Sweetheart 31.
I had a 33. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And then a 51 for Supportive.
I had a 51 as well.
Amazing.
So I had an 84.
An 82. Cracks me up still, Frankie. Excellent point. -1.
I kept that. I kept that.
-2. Just -1.
Yeah, I kept that for sure. And our patrons did vote for the championship.
Ooh, okay. So what did they do?
They gave Milo a +1.
Wow! Yay!
So
good.
Yeah, I was really excited that, you know, like, and social media did not pick him. It was, I was looking throughout the day and it was back and forth. At one point he was in lead, then it was tied at one point. So
wow,
it was exciting for me to check.
That's exciting,
on.
Yeah.
But David did ultimately get the +1 from social media, and David got a +3 from the patrons. So,
MVP David.
Yeah. So that means our total scores for Milo was for me for 85. And then 83 for you, for Milo. So I mean, well done. And then we have David.
Yes. David just, I mean, I knew he would do well. I think in my mind, at least, when we were talking about potentially doing the Supportive Sweetheart, I'm like, David is built for this. You know? So definitely had him coming out on top. Not next to Milo, but definitely had him coming out on top. And he really came through. Sweetheart score of 36.
Same. 36.
And that is very high. That is only...
There's only 40 points possible. He's only 4 points away from
4 points away from a perfect score. Did anybody score higher than that for you on just the Sweetheart? Or even...
No.
Get close?
Pacha and Felix got 32s for me. And Shang got a 34. So that would be...
Shang as well. But it's such a high.
Yeah.
I mean, to be 4 away from perfect.
Yeah.
My guy.
How can you even debate that? Well, and I was thinking about David, because he not only is he built to be a supportive character, but the story itself is built to need support.
Yeah.
Like, that's also a unique thing about Lilo and Stitch, is you have such a hard tragedy happening in the family.
Yeah.
In a way that really needs an emotional support in a modern way. This is also a modern film, which is unique as well. I mean, Hercules, we got Greek. Shang is back in like the 10th or even before that century. Milo is turn of the century. Like it's there. So this is a modern story too, which is so unique in a lot of the Disney stuff that it's really interesting that he's built for it and the story is built to need him.
Yeah. Yeah. And the culture is designed like like this. Not designed, but you know what I mean? Like there are like the whole thing with Ohana and just being supportive of everybody, you know, outside of the bratty little girl who's mean to Lilo. Yeah. Like everyone wants Nani to succeed. Yeah. They want Lilo to succeed. Yeah. There's just only so much they can do personally. Yeah. So I think you're totally right. Like the film in general, the Hawaiian culture really said, here we are, stepping up to the plate. Yeah. We're taking gold today.
I love when you were talking in our Nani episode in season 1 just about them going to the island and getting that feel for everyone taking care of each other and learning what Ohana was and feeling it when they visited. And it just is supportive. It's like it's the classic It Takes a Village. Like it's it's just there.
And there was so much care and love put into this relatively low budget film.
Yeah, it was.
Like, you know, and you really, really can tell that they embraced the culture, embraced the voice actor who played David to make David who he was. I mean, you can tell. And that is why he, despite not having his own arc at all, as far as changing as a person, he doesn't have to. He's there. He's confident. He may light some things on fire every once in a while, but he is a confident, solid man. Yeah. Like full-fledged character.
Yeah.
With just life and breath in him, and you can tell, and he deserves to be here.
And we talked about this last week, but I just want to reiterate, like these movies are a year apart.
Yes, they are back to back in the Disney film franchise of when the orders of everybody ever. Wow, the order of it coming out.
Yeah, so it's so cool.
That is so much today.
Well, it's so cool that of all the things that we spanned from 1939 with Snow White all the way up to it was Encanto this year, 2022.
No, it was
last year.
2021. It was the end of last year. Okay. They were in the Thanksgiving money slot.
Great. Okay.
I call them the money slots because it's like Thanksgiving and Easter are the big money makers for them.
Yes, exactly. So we're spanning from 1939 to 2021 with these movies, and the two that ended up in the championship are 2001 and 2002. So I think that's just really cool.
That says a lot. And not that new movies didn't do well. We talked about Felix. I mean, he's second if you just go by scores. I will say I'm a little bummed. I get it, but I'm bummed that Raya had no representation in this Maiden Madness. I get it. Yeah. But I'm a little bummed.
I do think that we just talked in our Raya episode how Namari is who the voice actress for Raya is like, well, I think they end up together. Like, so if I could bring that in, that
the sweetheart of her, for sure.
I don't think she would have done great.
No.
But it would have been really cool to talk about, because I also was disappointed that there's no women. We did not say we were doing men. We said we're doing romantic interests.
And that is big talks right now. I'm excited to hear that Pixar seems to be they wrote a big letter and they're like, okay, we need to really you need to let us keep the stuff in the movies that we wanted to put in it in the first place. There was an announcement that they're re-putting back in a moment in the new Buzz Lightyear movie. Oh, that is a same-sex sweetheart moment, if you will.
That's great.
But yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. In the Avalo 2022. There should be a little more representation.
So I was a little disappointed in that, looking at the overall bracket. I'm happy it's starting to get into some Marvel movies, and I'm hoping that the animation takes that step. Like, I just want that. Like, they had the short film now that had, like, I just want them to take that next step. Because I was sad that we only talked about Disney and Pixar men in this.
And the short film you cannot find if you have a kids program.
Great. Awesome. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother podcast, but I have feelings about that.
But for Maiden Madness, friends,
David,
thank you for being here. Yes. David, obviously.
Amazing. What was his final supportive score for you?
Oh, yes. We didn't even.
Yeah, we're just like talking about it.
Gushing.
Yes.
All right. Supportive 56.
Ooh, 54 for me. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Real big numbers here, guys.
So I ended up with a total score of 90.
So 62, by the way, is the most he could have gotten without using negatives. 62. Yes. Mm-hmm. So you gave him a 90?
I gave him a 90. Total.
Yeah, and he has a 92.
Nice.
From me. Nice. So right? Mm-hmm. That's wow.
And he did get a +3 from our patrons. So they agreed.
Yeah, they agreed.
And social media agreed. So he technically gets a +4 to his score.
Wow. Yep. 96, here we come.
Yep.
Wow.
Which is he's the only one that cracked 90 in the whole tournament for me, which was fabulous.
Yeah, Mulan did 87.
Mulan was at an 86 for me last year.
Yeah.
And Belle was an 81. Nani's final score for me was an 83.
80. Yeah, she got 80.
Yeah, so no one cracked the 90s last year. I think there was maybe one less category, but it was very close. David just blew them all away with a 90. So
yeah. To finish off our Maiden Madness.
Yes.
We have in 4th place. Hercules.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I would say well fought, but I don't know that that's true.
Yeah, well fought for 3rd place.
Yes.
Shang.
Well done, Shang. I love it. I'm so happy he made it through.
Yes. And now for our top 2 friends. Mm-hmm. In 2nd place, Milo Thatch, everyone.
Well done, Milo. I was not ready for you to make it this far, but you deserve it.
Yes. And the most deserving, who we've gushed about.
Yeah. Every single episode.
For half of this episode, all the episodes, every episode. Guys, did you know this was David Madness?
Yeah. Did you know David was in it?
It's David Madness, guys. Was David even here? Was David in it? I don't think we talked about him. But David from Lilo and Stitch comes out on top with the crown.
Impressive.
What a beautiful end. What a beautiful end to our Maiden Madness, my friends.
Yes. I'm very excited that we did this. It was fun to talk about what it meant to be a sweetheart, what it meant to be supportive to your love interest. It was really fun to make it this rubric and figure out what to even put on it. Oh my gosh,
yeah. Thanks for being with us. Yes. This has been such a fun Maiden Madness. Mm-hmm. So excited to do it again next year.
Yes.
So excited to see what we even do. I mean, my friends, the opportunities are endless. And follow us for our next season, season that premieres in the fall. Mm-hmm. We are talking about something a little different. We have talked about women in fiction. We have talked about women in film. We have not yet talked about women on the stage. And that is what we are doing next season, my friends. We are talking about women on the stage, particularly musical theater.
Yes.
So brush up, friends, and prepare for
season 4. I love that we're finally talking about what both of us have studied and actually been trained in and all of that. So I'm really excited to dive into musical theater and just kind of compare the style of character development too is going to be really fascinating.
Yes.
Because we've gone through thick, huge series of fiction where there's 7 books. And then all these classic, smaller films, animations so far. So I'm really excited to talk about a whole new genre of stuff. We will update you on what genre or section.
Because there's a lot. There's a lot, guys.
It's a lot to cover. It will be more than one season of theater. So stay tuned to our social media and our website to figure out when it's being released and what specifically we're going to talk about. But I'm really excited for that next fall. Thank you for joining us for season 3 overall. This has been a really fun season.
Yes. Thanks for being with us. Thank you to our patrons. And the content doesn't stop here. So something that's a bonus about being a patron is you still get bonus episodes every month of our After Hours episodes and much more content to come. Obviously, we still post on other social media, but if you're really inclined for new, fresh podcasts and want it now and don't want to wait until we release it later, definitely hop on that Patreon. It helps us to continue the podcast and grow it even more. So we're happy to have you and happy to welcome more into our court.
Yes. And the best thing about After Hours is it's a video podcast. So you get to see the ridiculous faces and hand gestures that you don't get to enjoy on our normal podcast. So that's one of my favorite parts of the After Hours is seeing us be ridiculous. And we're not filtering or editing all the craziness that happens.
No, you just get to witness it live.
Yep. So come join us with that. And we hope you enjoy that. Thank you all again. And we'll see you next fall.
See you then.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode in our 3rd season of Damsels in Dialogue. Check out our website and social media for updates on the release of our 4th season this fall.
If you enjoyed what you heard today, you can help us reach even more listeners by subscribing to the podcast and leaving a rating or comment on Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you are listening.
If you want to join us for even more discussions about all the women we covered this season, head over to our Patreon. There you can support the podcast and unlock an entire library of our exclusive After Hours video podcasts with new episodes arriving each month. You can also unlock research notes, bloopers, and more.
Follow us on social media and at our website on damselsindialogue.podbean.com. Until next time, this has been Damsels in Dialogue.
Have a nice day.
This podcast episode is sponsored by Royal Princess Parties, LLC, and is produced by Hello Out There Audio, part of Hello Out There Productions.